This is what it's all about. This milk can, once a simple piece of farm equipment, was chosen 50 years ago as the ultimate prize given to the victor of the football game pitting North Hunterdon High School against its sibling, Voorhees. On Friday, October 24th, at Voorhees, Vikings and Lions will again clash on the gridiron, marking the golden anniversary of the Gilded Milk Can. Regardless of what happens the other 8 weeks of the football season, the winner of this game is the champion of the North Hunterdon Voorhees School District.
Trey Mutola powering forward. He stays on his feet, spins and scores.
Idea 1/2 century ago when Voorhees High School opened, welcoming half of the dozen districts that were sending students to North Hunterdon High School. The late Lowell M. Snare, sports columnist for the Hunterdon Democrat, discussed the nascent rivalry with then North Hunterdon Superintendent Clifford Singley, after whom Singley Field at North Hunterdon High School is named. They agreed on the milk can, used on the farms that sprawl around the area as a fitting tribute to Hunterdon County's agricultural heritage.
It was something our area had. The farmers really were in this community back in the early 1900s, and they would take their milk to be processed every day. In 1975, Voorhees High School opened up, and then voila, the milk can was born.
The can itself was donated by Bert and Emma Milligan from their farm in Union Township next to Bethlehem Presbyterian Church. At the time, their son, Air Force Captain Joseph Milligan, who had been a wrestler at North Hunterdon, was a prisoner of war after being shot down in North Vietnam.
Joe Milligan was a POW in Vietnam for, 3 years at least, and came home. His family owned a farm just outside of Clinton in Union Township, and between Clinton and Pittstown. And Lowell talked to him, he liked the idea, and he donated the milk can.
When the milk can was chosen, Snare, along with fellow Hunterdon Democrat writer Gene Robbins and longtime Clinton barber Tony DiPietro, who was then a member of the North Hunterdon Voorhees Board of Education, painted the can.
So we painted it up. It's gold. The lid is split down the middle with green and red, and gold is the common color for the two schools. And we painted it up, and I can remember when we did paint it, we kind of swirled our initials on the bottom, which I looked the other day, and I could not see. The can is all rusted on the bottom now.
Topping it off with 3 coats of 18-karat gold paint donated by U.S. Bronze in Flemington. They painted the can in Tony's barber shop on Lee Street in Clinton, and for years afterwards, the shop was the display case when North Hunterdon won the trophy. North Hunterdon won the initial milk can game 31-8 back in 1976 when Dave Smigelski earned the first MVP award. Smigelski went on to be an All-America punter at Virginia Tech, then punted in the National Football League for the Baltimore Colts, Atlanta Falcons, and Washington Redskins. Dr. Singley presented the milk can to Lion captains Smigleski and Bob Bartnett after that initial game. On the eve of this 50th anniversary, the can is the property of North Hunterdon, thanks to a 56-21 victory in 2024. Voorhees, hosting the Golden Anniversary matchup, has been victorious only once in the last 5 years. 35-14, the last time the Vikings hosted the game in 2023.
It's funny, it's always a big game every year, regardless of what the records are. Our excitement is always, it's not just the game, we do a whole spirit week with it. There's themes for, what to wear each day. Kids do a decorating night. We have a huge pep rally on Friday. The classes compete against each other with the theme of the North Hunterdon Voorhees milk can game as intertwined with it. So it's a huge deal. It's a little bit bigger deal because it's the 50th, but it could be the 52nd, the 71st, the 39th, and it's going to be a big deal just because it's Voorhees North, and it's that championship game you get to have every year. The effort and the enthusiasm and the feel of the game, no matter what the teams are when they come into the game, just being around for so long and playing, coaching, and in the role I'm in now as the athletic director, you could just tell that it looks right from the outset that there's two teams that are as even as they can be. It's such a big deal when you get that win. And to see them just in tears of joy after they get it, it's unbelievable. That's the best moment, isn't it? There's always big plays, there's always big moments, but as a coach, the best moments is just to see those kids when they realize they just did something for not just themselves and their season, but the entire community and their school, and just they're so proud.
As you go around a community and you run into people and they find out who you are, does the game and its history come up in conversation?
Yeah, it comes up now and then. It's there's plenty to talk about. I've been to so many of them that I have at least one vivid memory from every single one I've been to, and there's some interesting things about the games, and I'll throw in a little known fact now and then, but then I feel like like the old man of the group with some of the stuff I've seen and I know about the games, but there's some interesting. People are interested in it. I think the one year we won it, and when the 1990 game, people always say it's the last game of the year, but that year, because I think we switched over conferences with the scheduling, the game was actually in the middle of the year one year.
This came up in a conversation I had with somebody else.
Yeah, his game was when Cahill was the hero.
Yep.
People don't realize it's always the last game of the year. Well, not always the last game of the year,
Back to throw is Sherman. Deep down the middle of the field. This was intercepted by Cahill. Cahill on his feet at the 35, to the 30, down to the 20-yard line. He's going to return it for a touchdown. Mark Cahill picks it off.
At the time, for me, the game is usually played at the end of the season, but that particular year, we played it in the middle of the season for whatever reason. And at the time, we were, I think, 0-4 going into it. So, we were ready to go. And luckily, we came out on top for our first win of the season. I think, if I can be honest, I think it's gotten more intense as it's gone on. I remember when I played, there were no signs in the stadium. There was none of that stuff. Nowadays, the teams show up with signs, and they show up with powder, and they show up, and they're talking on social media has changed the game completely, as you can imagine. Because back when I was playing, they didn't even have cell phones, as you know. But nowadays, there's so much social media. So I think it may be, I dare to say, it might be even more intense now than it was back when I was playing.
As a coach, and I coached up in Connecticut for 30 years, how do you keep the kids from skipping ahead in the calendar and looking at this game and staying focused on the task each week?
That's a hard question because they're always focused on this game from day one. From day one, so and I give John Hack all the credit in the world for what he's doing this year, but it's really tough because these kids know each other, they see each other out at the store, and things like that. So it's really a tough thing to do to really keep them focused each week because they are a little bit looking ahead to this game. those kids are just as excited for this game, regardless of whether we had a win or whether we were 10-0. They do the Spirit Fest all week, and it's really, I've been at Voorhees for 30 years now, and, I've seen a couple of schools, but I don't know if there's a place that the school spirit is like it on this week. It's crazy just what the kids do and the themes they do, the dressing up, they do decorating, so there's really full support, for the football team for this game.
You're the head coach. You're walking around town, and let's just say these are communities that take their high school football seriously, especially the milk can game. How are those interactions?
You get the ribbon if you lose, which is, and I think one of the other things too is being our sister school, I was very familiar with their coaching staff, friendly with their coaching staff. We had a great relationship, me, Dennis Howie, John Mattis, great guys, and I learned a lot from them too over the years, doing, being at different things and different events. So I think that little community part, it's not two towns that absolutely hate each other. It's two towns that get along, or 16 towns or however many we actually have in the district or whatever it is now. But there's always that little gentle ribbing that you don't want to take if you're on the losing side, for sure. I remember they used to put the can down. I think they still do, and they win it in the barbershop down in Clinton.
Played in it my junior and senior year. My junior year, they used to do like the defensive and offensive MVPs. I got defensive MVP my junior year. Kevin Haplia was in my grade, so the game my senior year, he was there. He went on to play at Penn State and Florida State, and he was a very good tight end, defensive end. And unfortunately, I had to line up against him, so I had a rough night, let's put it that way. The milk can really, it's more about it's the school community. It's not even just for the players. Some of the students, I would say, are more into it than the players in terms of like the Spirit Week and all the festivities that go on. It really gets the whole school bought into the game and behind the football team, which is it's a great thing for the school community.
John Deutsch has 25 plus years as an administrator at North Hunterdon High School. Means he's been around for half of the milk can rivalry. 16 years as the North Hunterdon athletic director, 2 years as director of student activities. He's approaching 8 years as vice principal at the school. You've seen it from a number of different perspectives. What is it like around the school Milk Can Week?
Well, John, I'm not sure doctors can diagnose this. I would call it milk can fever epidemic. It's about community bragging rights, North Hunterdon, Voorhees. This week here is going to be Spirit Week, and our milk can game will be on this Friday at Voorhees High School. If you look at a lot of rivalries across the country, like the big schools, like Iowa and Minnesota, you'll see Floyd, the Bronze Pig.
Yep.
Minnesota versus Wisconsin, Paul Bunyan Axe, and UCLA and USC, the Victory Bell. That's the kind of thing we have here. We have a milk can we use.
Is that the milk can behind you?
Yes, well, actually, a lot of people think it's a milk can, but it's really not. This week we have a pumpkin decorating contest, and every year the staff get heavily involved in the milk can. This is actually a pumpkin. So if you look at it, it's very similar to what the milk can looks like. It's going to be, we all know what's going to happen in this game. We just have no idea. It doesn't matter what the record is. It doesn't matter if one team's undefeated, one's not. Anything happens at this game, so it'll be fun to watch. I can't wait.
This is a type of situation, and I just kind of get chills thinking about it, that it's a rivalry that's built. It's bigger than the kids. It's bigger than the coaches. It's a community thing. And so the expectations for this week is no nonsense and just really kind of everything you have, every ounce, every trick play, every ability that you can to pull the victory out is what the mentality is. From my position in school, just knowing as the director of student activities and the dean of students, just there's more than just a football game. And I think it's bragging rights. I think there's so much more to this that the kids kind of hold, especially the football players, hold them accountable, so they know they need to kind of they got to come out the gates strong and hard, but they got to keep it consistent throughout the whole entire game. And I think that's where a lot of the time the victory has come over to North because of that reason, I think. You know, we're leading up to 2 weeks of just spirit weeks and just really fun activities for the kids to get involved throughout the school day, whether they're sports oriented or not. Developing competition within our grades and our classes. And we do that all month, kind of just working towards, whether if it is certain community events that the food charity event that we do for Thanksgiving, it's a competition level and that carries all the way out till Thanksgiving. So yeah, this is, again, it's bigger than football. It's as director of student activities, I couldn't be any more humble and to be part of a community that is so built around traditions. You know, whether, again, this is talking about sports or just the way the schools have put together the things for the kids to be part of, I think it's awesome.
No matter what happens in this year's game, it will be recorded on the side of the milk can, and one side will hold that gilded trophy for the next year.
Again, being there 30 years, I'm kind of the bridge between the folks who started the place and the younger folks who are there now. You know, so it's really cool to be able to see those traditions that started with these folks that were my mentors, you know, to going on to now the people who are my mentees. You know, and you know, Brian Bauman was my offensive line coach, now our athletic director. You know, and he did a great job before he was the athletic director of kind of keeping these traditions up. But I think the kids, most of them, I don't know if they know what they have now, but when they get out of high school and they come back, I think they appreciate how much, you know, goes into this game.
It continues to be, you know, the biggest game for both schools, I believe, throughout the regular season.
When you go to that game, you have to go early because it's jam-packed. You got to get there early and park.
That game alone can basically make or break your season. It's a great way to kind of have it towards the end, to go out on top or to even give you that momentum going into playoffs.
I love the schools, the school district. It's a really great school district, and like I said, it's something special in terms of a high school rivalry, and the kids really love it. It's got some great history, and hopefully it's something that they continue for a long time to come.
Amazing to see the years and years of history that would always show up to the game, the amount of alumni, the amount of people. And I think that's one of the messages that every coach is going to say, is that you're going to see the amount of people come back to see this game. And that's so cool to say. And that's just being part of that tradition, and seeing that is the memories that are fantastic.
The cool thing about it is, you know, you're part of it. You know, football's a community event. So, you know, there's always something to playing a Friday night football game where, you know, community members come out. But the fact that you get, no matter what, you get a championship game at the end of the year, that's special. A lot of teams don't have that. And, you know, it's funny because there's other teams that we're rivals with in other sports. And North is it, though. I mean, they could say that, you know, we could go play Delaware Warren Hills in a game, and they might treat it like a rivalry game, and we will too, but it's not North.
The parts of the game are blurry, but I could remember every kid who held that can up at the end of the game. That's the part that's at the end of the game with that ceremony, and that's a special part. You know, when you're able to lift that can up.